Can you buy a passport and gain citizenship? Yes, you can. And can you do it legally? Yes, you can. Of course, you can do it illegally on the black market, but today we're going to be going over 5 of my favorite citizenship by investment programs where you can get citizenship for not only yourself, but for your entire family as well. So let's get right into it. The first one on the list is Dominica, and please do not confuse this with Dominican Republic. It is not the same country. There are 2 ways for you to get citizenship by investment in Dominica. The first is through a donation, and the second way is by investing in government-approved real estate projects. Now, I will say that Dominica is one of the most cost-effective programs in the world right now, and because of that, it's one of the most popular options. A lot of Americans are buying it, a lot of Canadians are buying it, a lot of people from the UK are buying it. All over the world, people are buying this passport, and the reason is because it's extremely cheap, starting at only $100,000 US. Note that the $100,000 is not coming back to you, it's a donation. Now, I mentioned you can also invest through real estate. Now, for this, you'd have to invest a minimum of $200,000 US. This citizenship will grant you access to travel to 153 countries visa-free. So if your passport is not strong, this is a fantastic option for you at a cheap price of only $100,000. It makes it a very easy option for people to get this passport. Can you also get citizenship for your family? And with Dominica, yes, you can. And I just want to make clear that it's an extra cost, but this can be applicable to your spouse, your kids, if they're under the age of 30, and if your parents are over the age of 65, it can be applied to them as well. And one of the best parts is that there is no minimum required stay, meaning you don't even have to be in the country to maintain your citizenship. As for the processing time, I would say it takes roughly around 6 months, but we've seen applications be processed in under 6 months. Now, the second country on the list is St. Kitts and Nevis. Now, this country is a wonderful option for people who are looking to get a very strong passport, allowing you to travel to 166 countries visa-free. It's a no-brainer, again, for people who have weak passports. And just like with Dominica, there are 2 ways for you to get this citizenship. The first is through a donation, and the second way is through various approved government projects. And of course, we're referring to real estate projects. If you go the investment route, it starts off at $125,000 for a single applicant, $150,000 for couples, and $170,000 for full families up to 4 people. This can include your kids, your spouse, your parents, your grandparents, and even your siblings, as long as your siblings are under the age of 25 years old. And as for your parents, they have to be over the age of 65 years old. If you go the real estate route, you can invest either $200,000 or $400,000. Now, why is there a difference? Well, if you invest $200,000, it's resellable after 7 years, and if you invest $400,000, it's resellable after only 5 years. The process can take between 3 to 7 months depending on your application, and again, a huge bulk of this time can be just collecting the required documents. The third country on the list is St. Lucia, and this is one of the most cost-effective ways to gain residency through investment. If you go the donation route, you can donate $100,000 and get citizenship if you are a single applicant. If you're a couple, it will bump up to $165,000, and if you are a family, it's gonna bump up to $190,000. And just like with St. Kitts, it's for a family for up to 4 people. This could include your spouse, your children, your parents over the age of 55 years old, and siblings if they're under the age of 18. And if you go the real estate route, you have to invest a minimum of $200,000, and you cannot liquidate the property for 5 years. There's actually a third option that's a little bit less popular, but it's by putting $300,000 into a refundable government bond. Now, this investment will be returned to you at 0% interest, so you're going to get exactly what you put into it, and it doesn't matter how many applicants you have, it's going to stay at $300,000. And there's also a few more fees associated to this, which would bump up the cost of it. Similar to the other countries, the processing time would take roughly half a year, but it can be done in 3 to 4 months. To wrap up St. Lucia, the last thing I want to mention is that similar to the other countries, there is no minimum required stay in the country. Number 4 on the list, we have Antigua and Barbuda. Similar to the other countries, you can gain residency through donation, and the most cost-effective way is by donating to their National Development Fund. And I will say that it is one of my favorite programs because of its cost. It's only $100,000 for single applicants, $100,000 for family for up to 4 people, and if you have 5 people in your family, then it bumps up to $125,000, which is very reasonable. And if you have a family of 6 or more people, there's also another option at $150,000. That donation would go to the University of the West Indies Fund. And this would actually grant one member in your family a scholarship for 1 year. If you wish to go the real estate route, it's a bit more expensive, starting off at a minimum of $400,000. Now, there is a way to reduce this to $200,000, but in either case, you have to hold this real estate for 5 years or more. Having the Antigua and Barbuda citizenship will grant you travel to 161 countries visa-free, making it one of the stronger passports on the list. And the last one on my list is Granada. Now, having this passport would grant you access to travel to 153 countries visa-free. And you can get this citizenship by investing $150,000 into their National Transformation Fund, also known as NTF. Don't confuse that with NFT. If you're a single applicant, it'll cost you $150,000, and if you are a family of up to 4, you'll have to pay $200,000. Now, if you want to go the real estate route, you're gonna have to invest a minimum of $200,000, which is resellable after 7 years, and if you invest $400,000, it's resellable after 5 years. The processing time for this application is roughly between 3 to 6 months, depending on each case. And just like with every country on my list today, there is no minimum required stay, there is no interview, and no language test. If you're interested in getting any of these citizenships by investment, feel free to book a call with us in the link in the description down below. But if you don't want to pay that much to gain citizenship and you're not interested in citizenship, you can move to Dubai, which is a fantastic option, and we can tell you a lot more about it in this video right here, or feel free to book a call in the description down below.